How's it going, guys? My name is Alex Golden Boy Mendez, and this is MLG Presents Starhawk. And joining with me today is a very, very special guest. It is Dylan Job, the president of Lightbox Interactive. How you doing, Dylan?
Shake your hand, Golden Boy. How you doing?
Shake your hand, sir. I'm doing good, man. I'm feeling good. This game's awesome. We have some very special guests here to show the game, and I would like to introduce them now. We have T Squared and Hastro, two of the best players in the world. T Squared, Hastro, how you guys doing today?
Woo!
Doing well,
Having
guys.
a blast,
How are you guys?
man.
They're in it, man. They're playing. They feel good, huh?
God, I love that view.
Yeah, it's beautiful, right?
Gaming with that view,
New
doesn't
York
get
City.
better than that.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So hope you guys are excited to be here, Hasho, T2, and we are very happy to have you here because they're digging the multiplayer for sure.
Very excited, and the single player. They're both awesome.
Yeah, I think we actually got them playing some of the single player stuff right now.
Nice, nice. That is awesome, unbelievable. So in any case, we do have a little trailer to show you guys of Starhawk. So why don't you just check that out, and then when we come back, we're gonna have a little interview with Dylan Job and talk about his history with Lightbox Interactive, Warhawk, Starhawk, all that good stuff.
All the Hawks.
All the Hawks. Check this out.
Planets that once were wastelands now had men, all fighting to stake their claim.
All right, guys, ready up. Here they come. Sea Outcast, defend the rift. Let's set defenses now. Okay, I'm dropping a supply bunker behind you. Build us a beam turret. 10-4. Build some walls and hold those scavs back. I'm on it. Find cover. Here they come. Over there, scavs. Just gotta know where to go. Take them out. Raise their back. Auto turret's taking damage. Quick, drop some mines. They're breaking through. Come on, get there. Yes. Woohoo! All right. Hawks, incoming. Take what's ours. Let's get him. We've got a mech inside the perimeter. Get those ones! I'm out of ammo! He's mowing us down. We need more firepower. Keep him distracted. I got something. Nicely done. Nice work. Anytime. All right, guys. It's time to go on the attack. Let's get some transportation. It's payback time.
PlayStation.
The Hawk Snipe. The Chicken Shot. The Pod Kill. The Giant Frickin' Laser Beam. The Fly on the Windshield. The Heads Up.
Rated T for teen.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Golden Boy here with Dylan Job still. And now this is going to be the part where we talk to Dylan about his history, all that good stuff. because you have a very storied history,
I have
sir.
a sordid past.
Sordid past, of course, and you are president of Lightbox Interactive.
Yep.
And you got your first game is Starhawk, but you were heavily involved with Warhawk prior to that. You designed it and built it and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I can't say that I designed it and built it. I mean, I think
Single-handedly.
single-handedly. Yeah, you get these, like I'm here talking into the camera. You get one person out in front of the camera, but in fact, there's these big teams behind the scenes that are working on the game. And our new studio, Lightbox Interactive, we've been around for a couple of years now. Our first game is Starhawk, but prior to that, a bunch of our team members worked at Incognito Entertainment.
Yeah.
And we worked on Twisted Metal Black and War of the Monsters and, of course, Warhawk. And then prior to that even, some of my business partners worked with me at Single Track, going way, way old school.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, Single Track are the people that made, Jet Moto, very popular PlayStation game.
Right. I wished I could have worked on Jet Moto and Twisted Metal 2. Those were games that made me want to get into the game industry.
Yeah.
I quit being a product designer and moved to Utah, of all places, and worked at Single Track, and then eventually moved to Incognito.
So, from there, obviously, you guys then broke off and made Lightbox Interactive, and then they went off and did Eastly Play and all that stuff. So, Starhawk, original IP, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, I
like to look at it like that.
It is. I think it's fair to say we call it a spiritual successor, because it has the same DNA, marketing term, as Warhawk. You've got fast-paced ground combat, you've got vehicles, and we had that in Warhawk. Warhawk was a multiplayer-only game, but we had a really great global community, and certainly we carry that over in Starhawk. But for us, one of the big changes was the build and battle system.
Yes.
And that is where we were joking earlier about the will it blend, right? Throw in a shooter, throw in a strategy game, blend it all up. That's kind of where we wanted to go with the multiplayer experience with Starhawk.
Yeah, and to me personally, I personally love the system because for those of you guys out there, Major League Gaming is heavily involved with shooters as well as the RTS genre, StarCraft more importantly.
That's why it's such a perfect partnership, right?
It truly is, because this is a game that incorporates all the best things from those games and brings it into one, and it does it in a very, very smooth and fluid fashion.
Yeah, and part of what was critical to let players understand kind of how that all worked was making sure that we actually did have a single player campaign.
Yeah.
And that was really crucial, because if you remember, Warhawk was a multiplayer only game.
Yes.
And that was it was kind of an interesting decision at the time. We weren't really happy with where single player was going. We wanted to make sure we were focusing on multiplayer.
Yeah.
Of course, you could download Warhawk back in the day when it was actually pretty rare that you could download a whole big game like that. But I think to some degree we did a disservice to the players, because we didn't give them a safe place to understand and get familiar with the mechanics and the systems.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have a single player in Starhawk.
Nice. And speaking of single player, we actually have our two pro players, T-Squared and Hastro, playing the single player right now. I think we are going to be kicking things off with T-Squared, who's playing the second level of the game, which is the spaceflight mission.
Yeah, actually, he's playing one of the third missions. I think it's the third mission in the sequence. It's still early in the game, where we're getting players acclimated to the game's core systems. We don't want to call it a tutorial, because it's not really a tutorial, but we want to make sure that players really have a good foundation of the build and battle system and flight. Because one thing we saw in a lot of playtesting was that flight can be challenging for some players, and that's why we took specific care to make sure that players really understood how to fly and have some really great dogfights. What we're seeing right here are some really great cinematics. These kind of we referenced like old Wanted posters, because there's certainly there's like a tinge of Western aspect.
Yeah, and
to
I
the
was
game.
going to ask you about that. Yeah, I like that atmosphere that you guys have. It's almost like a Firefly-esque atmosphere.
Yeah, we wanted to try to do something a little bit different. So much about Starhawk was all about trying to stand out in a very stacked shooter genre. whether it was our mechanical systems or whether it was the style. And here's a great example of, just the diversity of gameplay. As T-Squared's flying around, he just left the Annabelle, which is Cutter's big dropship, and he's engaged in air combat. And that big space station that's down below him, that's not just set dressing or something back in the Sky Dome. That is a fully fledged environment that later on in the mission he'll land on and engage ground troops and go into the interior of the space station. And I think this is actually a really great mission to kind of showcase the depth and diversity of the game in single player.
I do agree with you there, and we do see T-Squared. He's actually he's trying to get this dude.
So here's an AI. It's got him on fire. Nice. Right? So that's a good kill. You can see here that T-Square actually looked at the flight settings earlier today, and we were actually talking about the flight settings. He likes to fly with classic arcade mode, and this is one of the flight modes that we brought back due to popular demand during our public beta of Starhawk. It was a mode that we had in Warhawk, and we had removed it from Starhawk, and there were a number of players who were really great pilots, really great gamers, as obviously T-Squared is, that really liked the arcade flight mode. And I think they liked it because of the smoothness of the camera and the fact that the reticle moves around on screen. And that's challenging for many players, but in the hands of a hardcore gamer, it does give you some pretty good options as far as your gunplay.
Yeah, you can definitely see how he's transitioning real well from like a dogfight to a dogfight. And also talk a little bit about the barrel rolls and all that stuff, which I know we made a joke about. I was like, do a barrel roll.
Yeah, like a little slippy comment.
I know.
So in Starhawk, there's a couple different ways you can do evasive maneuvers. You can do barrel rolls and Immelmans and maneuvers like you're seeing T-Squared perform right now. But you can also do organic moves. You can do power slides and slips and all of these other moves, and they all kind of combine together to your evasion score, which is used for scrubbing missiles. So in this phase here, it's kind of an early phase of the tutorial. They're not going to be super aggressive, so he's not getting under a lot of missile play. But as missiles would be locked onto him, he would be given a warning on the screen, and then he would be basically at that point, he'd want to take some evasive maneuvers, doing a dodge to the left or Immelman, try to scrub those inbound missiles so he doesn't take damage.
Yeah, now talk a little bit here. You see the damage that T-Squared's taking as he's getting shot from behind because he's engaging in a dogfight with someone in front of him, but someone's actually flanking him as well, which is pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, these guys are taking T-Squared from behind with their machine guns, which is never a good.
Never a good
That
thing.
never works out.
And he has some damage as well. Let's talk a little about that.
Yeah, he's sparking. One of the things we tried to do was, we've got a lot of HUD elements in the game. And we wanted to try to only show the stuff that was really, really critical. And so what we opted to do was forego a old school health meter and convey the health of the vehicle on the vehicle itself. So when you're sparking, regardless of what vehicle you're in, as soon as you start sparking, you're at 50%.
Nice.
And then as soon as you catch fire, you've taken 75% damage. So it becomes a really clear indication as to the status of your vehicle.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, T-Squared, you're out there right now. It seems like you're getting a little...
I'm struggling with these guys, man.
Yeah,
They're
man.
tough.
What's up? You got to close them out.
I'm closing them out, man. They're putting the moves on. They got the jukes.
Yeah, they are. You know what?
I got them. I got them.
You finally got them. This doesn't bode well for when we play against the Sony test team later on today.
We are going to have that.
Because I tell you what, T-Squared, it's not going to be good if you lose to a 19-year-old tester.
No, definitely not. You'll see I'm much more a ground and pound kind of type of guy.
Yeah. So here's T-Squared. You just flew around, had a dogfight, landed on a space station, and now you're engaged in ground combat. Can you talk to us a little bit about the transition? Like, what's your mindset? And you just got done doing pilot combat, but now you're on the ground.
I'm just trying to survive right now, to be honest, because it's there's so much. The AI is so good, and they're so hard to take down. And they'll move. They'll go behind walls, and they'll do what it takes to stay alive. So you have to be used to the fighter pilots evading, and then you have to be used to how good the AI is on the ground.
Right. Yeah, and we're really hoping that players pick up on that, because it's one thing to have AI built for just a hull crawler. It's another thing to have AI built that know how to use structures that you build for them, and know how to use the vehicles that come from the buildings you build for them.
Yeah.
It's a surprisingly involved AI system.
What I think one of the things that is really catching me about this particular game is just the transitions, like you said before. You know, he was just flying in the sky, because I played this mission as well, and I was flying, I was engaging, and then boom, on the ground, and I actually did something different. I stood in my Hawk, and I transformed to mech mode, right? Mech mode is the proper term for it.
Yeah, you can call it, or you can call it just super big robot mode.
Super big robot mode of destruction and death. Right. And oh, now here we're going to see the build and battle system coming in.
Right. So Tom, you've played this a little bit. What's your strategy here?
I'm going to put down some turrets here because I think that the AI goes for the turrets and tries to take them down since they do a lot of damage. So I'm laying these down to put some heavy fire right when they land.
It's really interesting that you were just talking about the AI. It looks like your two of your allied buddies have taken cover behind the auto turrets.
Interesting.
To your left.
Oh yeah, wow, they have. I didn't even notice that.
Yep, and
what is
Woodward
Woodward doing?
I don't know.
He's actually our sacrificial lamb.
Oh,
Go
yes,
on, Woodward.
push Woodward out there.
Come on, Woodward.
Push Woodward.
Yes. No, it's poor Woodward.
He's like, hey guys, I'm kind of just here. What do you need me to do, Tom?
Okay, so now, again, you know, you touched on this earlier, Golden Boy. When you played this mission, you played it a different way.
Yes.
And that's something we really wanted to do with Starhawk, that you could get 10 different people, play the solo player campaign, and they're all going to have different experiences. They're all going to go through the same story, but the tactics, the strategies that they choose are going to be different.
Yeah, and that really makes this game special.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, T-Squared, I'm pretty sure you've picked up on this already, but when you're killing those guys, they're dropping rift energy. Those are those kind of those orbs. That's the currency. So even though Starhawk has some RTS elements, it's not like you got to go out and chip stone or cut trees down. Pulling a trigger earns you the currency that you use for the build and battle system.
And you don't have to press a button to pull it in. It just comes right to you.
Absolutely.
As soon as you get the kill, it flies you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now let's talk about the build and battle system here, because we did see Tom drop down some auto turrets.
Right.
But it's a very, very unique system. It's one of the things that really, gripped me when I first saw Starhawk and I first saw this whole build and battle system. Let's talk about the inspiration behind this. Where did this idea, this brilliant idea to incorporate RTS elements into a shooter come from?
Well, I think there's a couple things at play there. Certainly, the concept of being able to have buildings in a game is nothing new. I mean, look back into some of the classic PC games of a billion years ago, like Battlezone for PC. There are games that have had, turrets and some other structures that you can build. But what we wanted to do with Starhawk was to fully realize it. Not just with turrets, but with vehicles that are spawned from other structures. The AI know how to use and manipulate all of those with small turrets and big turrets, with bunkers, with walls, with the whole gamut of parts that you might see in a traditional RTS, but yet with the pacing and intensity of a shooter. It's interesting here. We watched T-Squared play this. A competitive gamer, he played the first part of the challenge mostly from a shooter perspective. He's down on, boots on the ground, pulling the trigger himself, had some turrets, but only later in that mission did he opt to actually build a bunker. The bunker's good because it might protect the AI guys, but it also gives him a safe haven in case the firefight ever gets too intense.
Yeah, well, it also allows him to get more weapons, which Tom hasn't had a chance to use yet because he's kind of just, sweeping it up there with the machine gun.
I really enjoy this gun. This gun's a lot of fun to use.
Much respect for keeping it classic.
Yeah. I'll switch the guns up, though. The pistol's really powerful and nice to use.
Yeah, T-Squared and I were talking earlier about the differences between the pistol and the rifle, and this is something that our lead game designer, Josh Sutphin, spent a lot of time on. The kinetic rifle, which is the weapon you see T-Squared using right now, that's your starting weapon. And so we wanted, obviously, you use it a lot of the time in the gameplay. So we wanted to make sure that it was really fun to use, it had some depth, and it wasn't just a throwaway weapon. The pistol, what's interesting, that normally a pistol is kind of like the pea shooter weapon in games, but because of, like I said, the little dash and of little Western element, especially since Emmett, our hero character, is a hired gun, we thought, well, what if the pistol was actually a powerful weapon? So one of the things that Josh did, which I thought was really smart, is that the pistol actually is pretty powerful, but it has a little less aiming assist. So in the hands of a gamer who is, obviously in this case, a competitive gamer, who's got really good dexterity on the controller, the pistol, even though it's short range, is actually a really dangerous weapon, which you would expect, right, for a hired gun.
And it feels very powerful, too. That's the best thing. It's a satisfying kill when you shoot with it.
Yep.
Nice. And now talk a little bit about about the story here.
So what we're seeing here, again, we've got this really great thing going on with MLG right now. We're showing you a couple of the missions out of the single-player campaign.
Yeah.
This mission is Emmett has had to defend a space station, and their jump beacon has come offline. And the jump beacon is what these massive capital ships that transport rift energy throughout the frontier, they use to lock onto to transport rift energy. So what you're seeing here is what we call the setup in Build and Battle. The game is presenting T-Squared with, okay, here's your objective, here's where you're going to build, so you're basically seeing the area, you're seeing some of the defenses, you're being told an objective, and then you have to fight your way to it. And so in this case here, he's going to be transitioning, again, like we were talking earlier about, the game is filled with smooth transitions. He was dogfighting up in the air, now he's actually in the corridors of this wrecked space station. He's going to fight his way out of the space station, back out onto the supply platforms, and then he's going to use Build and Battle to defend a rig so that he can let the tug jump in.
That's awesome, because you can just use Build and Battle as like your own personal shields. You know what I mean? If you're in a pickle, just throw it on a wall right in front of you, so that this way
and I love
you get away from
pickles
that.
too.
Yeah, me too.
They're delicious. Yeah, you know, it's. I read online, and I can't remember which journalist wrote it, but it was a really great summation of the Build and Battle system. And he said something to the effect of, the Build and Battle system has more in common with a selectable abilities list and less in common with a strategy game. And it really is a lot like that. Basically, you can think of a player has some abilities that create or conjure buildings on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And that's how quick it is. Throughout the production, we wanted to make sure that building a structure, whether it be a turret, a bunker, or a launch pad, it was as fast and as visceral as pulling the trigger on a weapon.
Nice. Now, T-Square, what is the strategy here? You need to defend this this rift area. What is the strategy? What are you going to do?
Strategy's just going in, man. I'm going in ham over here with the pistol.
He's going in balls out. So in this case, he's actually you can see the AI are attacking some of the pre-built defenses.
Okay.
Because in a lot of the setups, it's not just about the stuff you build. You know, the game doesn't have these really awkward, long, drawn-out, low paces. We want to keep it full throttle all the way through the game. So the enemies are attacking some of the pre-built structures that were there.
Nice. And obviously there was a challenge here with being categorized as a destructible environment game, you know what I mean? Because obviously you can't destroy the structures and everything or another, but it's not like one of those games where it's like, oh, I'm going to blow up every aspect of it, completely break everything.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's a good balance.
It is. And this is something that the team, Josh, and our lead designer, and Lars, our creative director, worked with the team very closely on making sure that all the maps were laid out and they had their proper flow and structure.
Yeah.
That stuff you can't have destroyed because you want to ensure that there is some minimal level of experience for the player.
Yeah.
So actually you can see right now that T-Squared is actually building an extractor on that rift geyser. That's going to allow the massive space tug to warp in.
Yeah, so now Rift Energy.
Yes.
It is the life force of Starhawk.
It's the dollar bill, y'all, in our game.
Exactly.
Yeah. And yeah, so the currency is very simple. It's Rift Energy. It actually is the very element that is infecting Emmett himself. T-Square, see, I've never seen anyone do this. T-Square's trying to wall off. See, okay, so here's the thing. I'm critiquing T-Squared now. He's being told, the game is showing him where the enemies are going to attack from the different spots. And this is, again, one of the Build and Battle setups. So now he knows what's going to be happening. He's got himself a bunker. He's doing pretty good on Rift Energy. He's got 3 right now. Of course, he's a competitive shooter, so he's going to use turrets, of course. But he could be using. He's got a bunker. That's going to give him a shotgun. That's going to give him a rocket launcher. And he's also being smart about putting some turrets in good choke points so that if AI come around and they get a blind fire situation, the turret's going to block that. And that's actually pretty smart. A bunker in the middle to block a lot of the base fire right at the rift, and then auto turrets to either side.
And then it funnels them into a control point. And he built that himself.
Yeah.
It wasn't like something that was there, you know, like, yeah, there were pre-built things, but he built that himself. He used his own strategies.
Right. A lot of the layout that we tried to do in the single-player campaign, was create a play space that was kind of an open canvas so that players could use whatever strategy they wanted. T-Squared, you got to get in that bunker and get some more weapons. I know you love the kinetic rifle, but you gotta get in there. Look
Rocket
at there's
launcher,
a rocket
everyone.
launcher, more nades.
I got it.
Shotgun.
I'm full, bro.
Okay, all right.
The main thing is using the radar. So you can see right here, that's my line of sight where the white line is, and then I can see how many people are coming over there. So
right, so here they come spilling in.
Nice. Now T2 actually trying to see if we can whip out a rocket launcher and just rain death on everyone if possible.
I'm waiting for these guys to come a little bit closer before I use the rockets, or if they bunch up. So
nice.
I'll shoot one just for fun, though.
It looks like your turret setup did pretty well.
Yeah, it really did. All right, here we go.
Oh, there's your bunch.
There's some more.
Boom.
Not bad.
Now the visual effects in this game are very nice. Obviously, it adds it's a artistic style to it. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that a lot of people can appreciate because oftentimes you see a lot of games like these, you know, try and go with a super serious,
like
approach,
hyper realistic.
But this is, you know, you're still grounded within like a reality, but it's, you know, it's like you can.
Well, what we tried to do was. Because each of the weapons, again, in many respects, like an RTS, where certain weapons are better against certain units, we wanted to make sure that each of the weapons had a very unique look. Their explosions, their impacts, their tracers, so that in a battlefield, again, single player is a little bit more controlled, especially in the early part of the campaign. But you got to imagine in a 32-player battlefield when you have just an absolute ton of fire coming down on you and your team, you got to be able to make these moment-to-moment decisions as to what's coming down, and having very different effects for all the different weapons helps players read the situation. They brought down one of the turrets.
They charged it too.
Now these guys these were shotgunners, so they're just going to charge up in your business.
But he will take care of them right away.
Yeah.
Now there are different enemy types.
Though.
Yeah, it is pretty damn safe.
So there are different enemy types, multiple kinds, because I know I encountered a considerable amount. And you said these are the shotgun types. So what are some of the ones that you encounter early into the campaign?
Well, what we do right off the bat is we present you with a palette of troops with different weapon configurations. So you've got, oh, see, he was being tricksy. See how that AI guy tried to flank around there with a rocket launcher. We've got basic troop types that use kinetic rifles, throw grenades. We also have troops that use, you know, all the basic troop weapons, and that's really kind of where it starts. But then from there, it starts to amp up into units that know how to use the different vehicles, and units that are special units. So you might see a super massive outcast warrior that's, you know, 20 feet tall, or you might see.
Look at this.
Oh, he's going to build himself cover. So this is ballsy. I would not recommend this unless you're a professional gamer like T-Squared, but
I'm taking this guy on head on head, man.
This is you're going to see him right off the bat here. This is a Hawk landing, and T-Squared has decided to build a wall. His guys are going to use it for cover, and I think he's going to tangle with this guy. Oh my God.
Oh, no.
He took a rocket to the face.
Yeah, he's like, get right in
get
there.
Out of there. so this is the proof. See, now, this is actually a viable tactic in multiplayer. If you're out in the field, if you're in an open, you got him. Not shabby. So, again, Golden Boy, I want to mention that even though...
give it to him, T-Square. Give it to him.
You know what? It's amazing. So here's a warp jump in for the Albatross, which is a cap ship that shows up in a reoccurring fashion throughout the campaign. It's a massive capital ship.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about the teabagging. Can we go back to the teabagging for a second?
Please, talk more.
Of course, the T-Squared goes off and teabags this poor AI guy. When we were in beta, one of the things that players were most happy with was that we still allowed you to teabag.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, oh, they didn't cut the teabagging, that's great. And I was like, okay, whatever.
I mean, I played an extensive amount of Warhawk, and I have never gotten teabagged, thank God.
You never played with me then, Golden Boy?
Thank God, because I probably would have been I would have probably killed myself. I would just be like, why is he doing this to me?
So here's something really, this is like a pride and joy moment for us in the game. He had air combat around the space station, fought his way into the space station, defended the outside of the space station, and then now he's actually flying around this big capital ship.
And it seems like he's going to get some new toys to play with as well.
Yeah, I mean, the captain of the Albatross, which is this big tug capital ship, had some weapons in his payload, so he, of course, politely opened up his doors and He's giving him some homing missiles.
Yeah, he's like, hey, man, check this
let's
out.
see. Yeah, so it looks like T-Squared's using the swarm laser still pretty effectively, but he can also switch to the homing missile too, which is to the up and right on the weapon cross again, up and right, and the D-pad is the inventory for all of your weapons, whether you're in troop mode or in character mode. Oh, it was close.
Yeah, actually, when I got to play this game, me and the homing missiles were best friends for a very long time. It was great just lining up
homing
your shot.
missiles are your BFFs?
Yeah, they're my BFFs forever. I would always rely on them.
Homing friend forever?
I can't wait to play against people.
Find some health here.
Yeah, you do, right there.
I cannot wait to play the multiplayer and use homing missiles on people. Even though you can dodge and get away from it,
You can dodge. The homing missile was a point of serious contention in the beta because we wanted to make Starhawk a little bit more balanced than Warhawk. And Warhawk, it was so flight focused.
Yeah.
And so to do that, we made some changes to the weapon so that the life expectancy in a Hawk could be a little bit longer. And that angered a few of our hardcore pilots. They were really, really good in the air.
I think I'm going to anger some of your hardcore pilots.
Oh, maybe. You've got missiles coming.
I cannot find where the shield is.
I hate to... there's no shield in this map. Oh. There's no shield in this map.
So just health packs.
T-Squared, you're early in the campaign. You don't have all the weapons yet.
Sorry.
Just breaking it down for you.
Excited.
He was like, I'm going to get shields.
I'm going to get shields.
And like...
No.
There we go.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's go to Hastro and see what we've got over there.
Yeah, so now Hastro actually is, and thank you, Tom, so much for everything. Hastro, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
You're excited to get some Starhawk on?
Yeah, I'm kicking off this campaign right here.
Awesome. Now, we are actually going to be watching Hastro play. Oh, and we're back.
Oh,
how you
my
doing?
goodness.
We're going to be watching Hastro play Ballard's Crossing.
Look at that. That's a lot of AI.
Yep.
That is your federal daily allowance of scrapper AI right there.
Yes, those guys, I do not like them
No.
at all. They're very mean.
Yep.
They just chase you down, and they're very, very vicious.
Well, they're swarmers, and they have these massive metal claws on their arms, and they're great against anti-building. And so you can see here Emmett's actually being overrun by him, but Astro's actually holding his own.
Nice, and he is going to be able to get... I actually like to
Come
use
on,
a shotgun in that
melee
situation.
one, Astro. Come on. There we go. Huzzah.
I actually like to use a shotgun against those guys because they group up, and then you can just...
Golden Boy, you're all about accuracy by volume.
Yeah.
Just
you just got to get rid of them as quickly as you possibly can. You know what I mean?
So this mission that Astro's playing is later on in the campaign. It's a mission that we call Ballard's Crossing. And in this case here, this is actually where we're first introducing the Razorback Garage and the Outpost.
Yes.
The Razorback Garage is a structure that allows you to create a Razorback. It's a vehicle. 3 guys can get in it. You've got a driver, a passenger, and a gunner.
Yeah.
And then the Outpost is one of the parts that you use in multiplayer as well. And the what is Hastro? Let's go to Hastro and see what his strategy is.
Hastro, what is your strategy right now?
What are you doing right now?
I think I'm gonna build a couple turrets right here because we got some enemies coming on the Razorbacks. So I'm trying to put them on the choke points on the road right here.
Well, I think Hastro. I think right now you'll eventually get enemies, but you got to build a rig, man.
Yeah, let's see what we can do.
There you go.
I was trying to do that a second ago, but I think I just started allowing me to do that.
So now he is going to be building himself an armory.
He's got himself a supply bunker and a couple auto turrets.
Yeah, I'm gonna set these turrets up a little bit to try and take out these Razorbacks.
All right.
Turret, send it
and he's going to be by himself, so he has like no...
Well, in this case here, yeah,
right
I mean, the first thing that what kind of trips this mission into the next phase is capping that well. The Rift energy is fundamental to the story in the game. And usually what we do is we present the player a series of, for lack of a better term, relatively simple objectives because we know build and battle is a deep system unto itself.
Yeah.
So in this case, once he builds a rig on that on that Rift, then what's going to happen is he's going to have a series of events where he's going to have to go down and basically engage in this open rolling basin, engage these outcasts there. And you can see the outcasts have just totally destroyed this rig. He's going to need to build an extractor there.
So I was supposed to build here, and I think I just wasted all my Rift energy.
No, I mean, you can build an extractor.
Okay, let's do that.
Well, and actually this is good for the fans to see. We have especially in the single-player campaign, we have a we have a pretty forgiving system as it pertains to recycling parts, because of course you got to recycle, right?
Yes.
Why not in the future? So you can see here Hastro's gone ahead and he's capped this well, basically claims that region for him. And of course, he did set up a bunch of defenses for waves that are going to occur in the future.
Yeah.
But they're kind of way in the future. And so, what we're basically showing the player here is once we've got some extractors built on those rifts, that's pumping rift energy up to these massive space lifters that take the energy up to the albatross that's orbiting in the planet above. And the albatross is actually the massive capital ship we just saw in the previous mission.
Nice. And so you do see the Razorback now. So he's going to be
so let's build himself a because he wants to roll out.
I'm about to roll out.
There we
Exactly
go.
what I'm going to do.
And he
We're on
can
the same
build an
page.
outpost as
So
well.
he can. So this is, again, I'm not going to tell Hastro how to play the game. But in this case, if he wants to be a loner, which it does appear like he wants to, which is totally valid, you can roll out in a Razorback by yourself into this vast open basin. You see these huge totems, outcast totems, and he has to go and attack these other outcast extractors, these shrines that are built up there.
Now the outcasts, they view the rift
They
energy
worship the
as
rift.
they worship it, because I saw in the game they're bowing down and praising it. So it's and you're taking it. So it's like you're heresy or something like that.
In
you
many
know?
respects,
Heretic.
yeah. The rift energy is it's what binds all of the fiction together. It's what binds the build and battle system together. Not only is it the currency in the game for build and battle, but it's what all of the humans in the new frontier are mining. It's part of our kind of new gold rush in the frontier. Unfortunately, the rift energy is incredibly dangerous, right? So any of the human colonists that get infected by it, they friggin' lose their minds. Their skeleton pushes out through their body and they become outcasts from society, and they just basically go into these rift-fueled visions and crazy trances, and they become these outcast warriors. And you can see all the structures they've built. They're tearing metal down and they're salvaging all this metal, and they're building these shrines to the rifts, whereas the humans are trying to mine it.
Yeah.
And so that's really kind of the conflict in the game. And of course, Emmett plays a very special role in the frontier, which is the universe in Starhawk, because he is infected with rift energy, but he never turned.
Yeah.
So he's the only human in all of the frontier that had rift energy exposure, but didn't die and didn't become an outcast. He's kind of a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, and so now in Emmett's case, is there any advantage to being halfway exposed? Or?
Yeah, you're super badass.
Yeah, I mean, because he looks cool. You have these blue glowing eyes.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
I'm just going to do this for fun really quick. These guys are sniping at me. I could probably just send a rocket their way, but I'm
You
actually
prefer to
gonna,
snipe.
You're gonna
I'm
snipe.
going to snipe them right back because
Okay.
they're kind of being really aggravating with the sniper rifles.
Now, how cool was it when you're designing this game, when you're thinking, okay, how are we going to have these buildings grow? Because in most like strategy games and stuff like that, and Hastro might need to duck down here.
I'm trying, but
He's
they're
getting shot from
just
outposts
messing
on
me.
the other side.
Hastro's just moments away from unlocking the been shot in the head 12 times achievement.
Yeah.
Or trophy,
Oh,
rather.
these guys have rockets too. It's getting a little nasty right now.
See,
so.
I don't want to judge Hastro, but you being a loner maybe wasn't the best decision.
Yeah.
You do have an outpost if you need to bring in some AI pals.
Okay.
So-
Can we do that? Let's do that for you.
So that's right there. Yeah, it's going to cost 3 rift energy. Now the outpost in multiplayer creates a spawn region that players can drop pod in. But in the single player campaign, it allows AI units to drop pod in. So in this case, Hastro was trying to man-mash his way through. But in this case, we've got a couple. Look at, see, Dwight, being the smart, tricksy AI that he is, immediately climbed the sniper tower that Hastro built. And then the AI guys are going to start using the sniper weapon that came from the build and battle part that he built. And that's a cool thing, right? Because, you know, we get asked this a lot by our players. Well, do you give orders to your AI? You know, do you have to, cover here, move here, do this? And we say definitively no. We don't want you to have to manage these guys. You come home from a hard day at work, you want to have a great shooter experience. You don't have to manage anyone.
Yeah.
So what we say is we let build and battle itself become how you give orders. You saw that Razorback there. Gene, the proactive AI that he was, hopped into the turret.
He needs
and
a
he just,
raise.
He just hinted, basically has to, Gene. Yes.
Gene needs a raise.
Yeah.
Gene, wait, you're getting a raise.
Gene probably also has at least 15 pieces of flair, too, because he's going to go above and beyond. Anyhow,
Gene just earned medals.
the build and battle system is essentially how you give the AI orders.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a very simple system, but it always matches what the player wants.
It's something
to do.
that you wouldn't necessarily notice, but because they're just going to do it, and then you're like, hey, we're winning this battle. Everything's going so well. What's going on? You realize that your AI partners, unlike other games where AI partners tend to bog you down, your AI partners are actually helping you.
Right.
here.
We've all played some games before where one of the best things to do is park all of your AI in a corner somewhere
And just handle business.
Yeah. And but in this case here, the AI are led by Gene, the proactive flare-wearing AI. They're really smart.
Yeah.
They will.
Gene's driving for me now. Just want to point that out.
Okay.
Gene is a Gene.
I can't, Hastro. I can't definitively tell you if Gene's going to be the best driver for you.
No.
Gene also wishes he had AAA because he's going to need a tow because his Razorback's on fire.
Yes, and that means that they're about 25% damage at this point.
Well, they have 25% health left. And so,
25%
see,
health
look
left,
at
yes.
Cody is also proactive. He's got, there was another outcast wall there, which Cody decided to destroy. They're gonna be very autonomous in their approach.
Yeah. So now Hastro's best strategy here is to defend that rig and just build walls
the
around
outcasts
it.
are going to be coming in for that straight away. Gene's in a flaming Razorback. You can see that Hastro doesn't have a whole lot of rift energy left. He's got one rift left, a little bit into the
some right
next.
here.
Okay, yeah, there are rift caches scattered around that give you rift energy. Again, if you're in one of those build phases where there aren't a lot of AI around for you to kill and then therefore get rift energy, two Razorbacks. They're going to run you over, Hastro.
Oh, but he does have a rocket launcher.
Yep, he does.
With no ammo, never mind.
Oh, it's Gene.
Oh, Gene! Oh my God, Gene!
Gene
Almost ran. Gene is so.
Gene is a savage.
See, Gene is so. He wants to climb up the corporate ladder.
Yeah, so he's trying to take out Emmett. He wants to be the main character of the game.
I think Gene wants to get an MLG contract.
You're probably right.
We're going to see in the next broadcast. We're going to see Gene in that window, and Gene's going to be sporting glasses and all the stuff, right?
It's like, this guy's really making me look bad.
Right? No, okay, I'll stop.
It's all right, Astro.
There we go.
We love you, bro.
Oh, nice grenade shot.
Thank you.
So he is going to make some magic happen here and defend this area.
So we've got another wave of Razorbacks counting down. You can see there in the on-screen HUD. You got a few seconds before. I'm
still struggling.
This is going to be tough for you.
Yeah.
I think here's what I would recommend for what it's worth.
Oh wait, here's some rift.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Now we're gonna do some work now. I think.
They're attacking that rig, man.
Oh, I know. Let's see what we can do here.
They're going
So
I'm
here,
gonna try and do like maybe a supply.
You could. I personally, and maybe it's because I had the luxury of the privilege to work on Twisted Metal Black way long ago when I was a 3D artist. But I like driving around. I like playing this mission like car combat. And maybe that's just me, but that's another cool thing about this. I mean, Hastro's playing this mission totally how I wouldn't. But those are different strokes for different folks, right?
Yeah, well, I agree with you there. When I played this mission, I was on the Razorback for a large portion of it, and then I got off and decided to just rocket everyone because I am a horrible driver. Doesn't matter
real
what
life
game
or
it
in
is.
the game?
I probably reckon both.
Oh.
I'm pretty bad in, don't put me on the highway.
Oh.
And I'm a danger to society.
Oh.
And Starhawk's probably going to be the same thing too. So in any case, though, I kind of would do what
You were
Hatch was
rolling
doing.
out.
I was rolling out, but then I'd get off and start,
Right.
rocketing people and shooting people with my machine
So
gun.
a little
I'm gonna
tip,
pick up
Hastro.
Dwight.
Yeah,
Picking up
honk the
Dwight.
horn.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
you
Where's
can click.
Gene?
Yeah, I just did it.
Pick up some. Yeah,
I
the
got
horn.
Dwight.
See, again, that's one of the subtle ways. Oh man, they are wrecking you.
I know.
They are wrecking that extractor.
It's okay. We're gonna. Oh, here's Carson now. See.
Carson
Get
Daly just got on the van.
See, Carson is rolling. Carson Daly. I don't think his name is Carson Daly.
No, you don't.
No.
Well, that's the guy from
I know.
Oh, Dwight, turn around, bud.
Dwight.
Did someone jump out or did he get killed?
He just got killed.
I just
think.
blinked. We were
Oh,
just
no.
talking earlier
We
about in
lost
professional
Dwight.
gaming, you can't blink.
Yeah, I know, right? And now Hastro is going to be
You
getting
got
a
to
little
follow
fight
him,
here.
Hastro. You got to give. Ooh, Castro's barrel overheated.
Is this still going? I just want to make sure I'm staying close to
Yeah,
this.
here's what you got to do, Hastro. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice right now.
Okay.
You need to build and lodge your vehicle in a tree. That's cool too.
Yeah.
Cody wants to drive around with you. You need to build a robot arm. Oh, but you're out of energy.
Yep.
Okay. Now you just have to run these fools over.
Okay. Well, see, that's what I'm trying to do here, but it's a little rough.
I think that at this point we have determined that Hastro is a great shooter.
He's great on foot, but
Yes.
not a great driver.
Hastro, I feel
Okay,
for your
I'm just
strategy.
saying, well, it's okay. I'm defending right now. We're
He's
good.
yeah. So
Yeah.
here's
He's
the other
keeping it
thing
alive.
too. See, Hastro, what he's doing here is he's trying to fool us all, so
Yes.
that we may think less of him on the battlefield during a multiplayer sequence. But what we're actually going to see is he's going to bring it like Mario Andretti.
Oh, yeah.
When he's online, he's going to be like, wah,
I'll let them
wah,
drive.
getting my sponsorships.
He's ready. He's definitely misdirecting
Yep.
everyone right now because T Squared was looking real good, but everyone's gonna be going after him. And then Hastro just picking everyone off.
Is Hastro the underdog?
You know what? I would never count Hastro out. He's a veteran. I would never count him out. So
Is he like-
I know better.
Is he like Bebe? You never put Bebe in the corner? No one puts Hastro in the corner.
Listen, I would never count Hastro out. He will surprise you. I hope your testers are ready.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
Okay, but see, these guys are going after that last outpost now, and I'm kind or that last what's that called?
That's a rig. That's
Okay.
the first rig you built.
So that rig is it's kind of fortified though. Remember?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so
remember,
okay, so Hastro.
I've been kind of struggling
okay.
for the Rift energy. But
Like a good Seinfeld episode,
is
it's
all
coming
tricked out.
full circle, isn't it?
Yep.
In the beginning of the game, in the beginning of this mission, you hyper defended that rig.
Yeah, I got to
you
kinda take
playing-
a look at the mission earlier.
Oh, so you've
Saw
been
the
playing us like
Razorbacks are
fools
coming.
this whole time, haven't you?
I would say this. You know what? When I
You're
went for heavy defense on the first
You
rig,
get
but-
mad. You get mad props now because that turret that you built, which I thought you were a dumbass for building, actually saved you and protected that last rig.
So I win.
So you do
In
win.
the end, he has fooled us all.
You'd better move, Emmett. The Union captain started.
Well, guys, thank you guys so much for playing. And Hastro, T-Square, what do you guys think of the game so far?
It's one of the best third-person shooters I've played in a really long time. All of the different aspects of the game is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty blown away, man. It's actually really refreshing.
Nice, nice.
I would like to see T Squared and Hastro, both of them by 250,000 units each one. 250,000 units.
No
Awesome.
problem.
Then we
no
go.
problem. Hastro said
Thank
it.
you.
Let me just tap into Fort Knox real quick.
Good. Well, I appreciate your purchase, guys.
Oh,
Thank you.
man. All right. Well, guys, this is actually a very good opportunity to mention the Twitter giveaway that Major League Gaming is doing in conjunction with all you amazing people. Actually, we are going to be doing something awesome. So all you have to do is tweet at MLG Access to win. Use the hashtag StarhawkMLG. Make sure you use that hashtag. Make sure you tell us what feature you're most excited to play. Me personally, Razorbacks. I got to learn. I got to educate myself.
Yeah.
So make sure, and like I said, MLG All Access, and tweets are valid from now until 11:59 p.m. on May 9th. There will be 5 winners, and the prizes include an autograph Starhawk poster. Hopefully your John Hancock gets on there.
I think so. I think so. I don't like signing them myself, because you know what? I think everyone on the team gets to sign
most
them.
definitely.
It's the whole team thing.
Most
It's
definitely.
everyone's making the game.
A copy of the epicness that is Starhawk and a camo PS3 controller.
So camouflage, you can't. If you put it down, you don't know where you put it.
You know what? You're right.
We've got one right here. You can't even see it.
Just this guy, he is just it radiates success. Unbelievable.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You know.
I'm in New York City, and I ate some really spicy food last night, so I think that's the success radiation
That's what
you're
it is.
sensing.
You know what? I feel it 100%. I love the witty banter. I'm digging it. It's absolutely amazing. You're too much, man. You're too much. So now that we've seen T Squared and them play the game separately, they've been playing single player, but we are actually going to have them play co-op as well, which is going to be pretty cool. So we are going to check that out. But make sure you guys tune into this trailer because it's awesome. We'll be right back with some more Starhawk action.